Warning: the following podcast contains violent scenes that may be unsettling to some listeners. Listener discretion is advised. In 1942, in the cold desert of a small border town in Texas, a group of Cain are kidnapped and mass embraced by members of the fanatical sect, the Sabbat. Out of this group, only a handful survived, and through rituals and mentorship they became the pack known as the Pale Riders. Representing the Sword of Caine, they are wielded by a mentor to cut deep wounds within the heartland of Mexico to the enemies of the Sabbat. Juarez on Fire is a Vampire the Masquerade Sabbat chronicle that follows the Pale Riders pack that consists of Mitch, a Lazombra played by Adam, Coyote, a Ravenous anti-tribute played by Alex, Eldrick, a Caitiff played by David, Jasper, a Bruja anti-tribute played by Joaquin, Cora, a Shemizi played by Slavic, and Richard, a Ventrue anti-tribute played by Tillman. If you'd like to contact us, you can find us on Twitter at twin_cities_VTM or on Facebook at Twin Cities by Night. We hope you enjoy.
So where we left off, the pack kind of split in two, and Jasper was left on his own at your guys' haven in Cedar Creek. Two of the pack members went into Cedar Creek and went about there, kind of caused some chaos at someone's home and kidnapped someone. And then the other two went and kind of set up a trap, making it look like the Rolls Royce was broken into, and then kidnapped someone that way. So Jasper, as the group takes off, you're still standing outside of this abandoned resort hotel that you guys have made your nest, that was once booming in the 20s, but now has become this eerie, decrepit haven for the monsters that you are slowly becoming. Especially you, with this impactful moment you had just with the Valkyrie here, where not only did you experience a religious rite in itself that has long tradition in your sect, but it really impacted your humanity and helped evolve you more, but also left a scar in a way that now once the group left, you see these bodies slowly swinging upside down, just gently. You feel the breeze, the cool spring breeze. You smell the dust. You hear the life that's in the desert, and you see this pool of blood that sits in this fountain straight across from you. What is going on with you right now at this moment?
Okay, so after the whole experience with the Valkyrie and all that good stuff, basically Jasper just goes like, I have to commemorate this. I have to keep this with me. I cannot forget this night. Cannot. This is a moment of beauty. I will share. I will have to share this. And so he goes around just looking, especially with the bodies, just looking at how they're situated. They're how they're tied up, the ropes, the knots, and all the rest. He's committing them to memory.
Yeah, you slowly are walking around for the couple of hours that your pack mates are gone, and you're just intricately looking over. It's almost like you're absorbing each carcass that is hanging there. Even kind of slowly turning your head a little bit, getting on your knees on the lip of the fountain, the little 1 foot lip there, and you're kind of just a little look at the face of this that's just kind of pale and with a gash across its neck. And you find it to be a very intimate moment too, almost like it's art in a way that you see here. So as you guys get back in your respected, pairings, how you guys paired off with Richard and Coyote, had that bonding moment, which really is kind of a strange relationship in the fact that you guys are both on the opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to humanity. And then you have Mitch and Cora, who have this bond, well, not a bond, but a tie together from their mortal days, which was Cora's son, who served with Mitch in World War I and died, and led to Mitch and Cora kind of having this, I wouldn't call them enemies, but having this I guess tension between each other and hatred, I guess, in a way, I don't know. So you guys come back and you see Jasper's kind of walking around, kind of just slowly looking at the bodies still, he's soaking up the fountain, and the bodies are dangling upside down from the fountain, because in case you guys forgot, there was 7 bodies dangling upside down, and Archbishop Vidar went and cut their throats, which added their blood to the pool. You're able to notice when you see the 2 figures walking out of the desert you see that Richard is holding like this little girl who's unconscious, just kind of like limp in his arms as Coyote's walking like with his normal ego machismo stride, smoking a cigar. And then you see the car roll up and you see Cora and Mitch get out of the car. You guys all see this? Scene's on you. Go ahead.
What's the child for?
It's a snake.
What? You stupid... Oh, wait. Brother, I think you just gave me a wonderful opportunity.
Hmm.
I'll take this with the child. Like, I need to plan this. I sort of walk off like to the corner, just lay the child down. Like, how do I do it? I can do this.
So Mitch and Cora, as you get out of the car, you see Jasper looking at this child that's on the ground, like he's deep in thought. You see this child is knocked out, has you're having a hard time. You can't really make out her face, but in the moonlight, the and your headlights, you kind of, which I don't know if you leave on, but you can kind of see like the whole side of her face is pretty bruised up.
Mitch will get out of the car. Why in the hell is there a child here?
I'll throw my cigar on the ground. Say, because the blood is tastier. I thought you would make a nice gift.
Gift for who?
For Jasper, he didn't come to feed with us.
I appreciate the intent. However, people look for kids harder than they look for anybody else.
You hear Jasper go, yes, yes, they do, yes.
Brother Jasper, are you all right?
Mitch will go around to the back of the car, pop the trunk, and haul the dude out.
I'm fine, Cora. I have ideas in my head. They're forming. I need time just to pick them out.
Of course, brother. I think I'll retreat to my quarters. If you'll need me, you'll find me there. And
you see Mitch, Jasper, as you're talking there, you see Mitch dragging this body of like a beer-gutted, Texan Caucasian out of the trunk of the Rolls Royce.
Bring the kid inside. Nobody hurt her. Fat ass is my dinner. And Cora's dinner.
Wait, brother.
And spare materials.
I need her for a plan. I have a plan.
No one is hurting the child.
We can't return the child.
I have a plan. Listen, do you mind if I...
Yes.
Really?
I mind this whole fucking situation.
Look around us, brother. We are beyond mortal concerns. We are greater than this. We don't need to worry about what we thought back then. Don't you see that? Do
you want some sheriff kicking down the door to our haven at high noon looking for this kid?
Not if he's looking somewhere else.
Where the hell else is he going to be looking?
Juarez.
They are going to scour every inch of desert to find her.
So that's why we use that. We can use that to our advantage. You told me that the Camarilla, they have hidden our targets somewhere. They hide the people. So if we go there, they might have some way of communicating, a radio or something. But if we have a diversion, something to occupy their attention while we go in there, they'll have to pick. They will have to
explain.
So everyone knows that a child is a thing to be guarded, and the instinct of every human will be to guard this child. So we give them a reason, something to defend her from. I say we take her to Juarez. We make it look like that half-breed, whatever his name was, took her. It was hiding her. Then we make it we rescued her from there, and we create a diversion. We let the crowds deliver justice upon him, and then we just sneak away and tend to our target that very night. And while the Camarilla is occupied with the chaos down there, we go and they're occupied.
So what you're saying is we need to bring her inside. Am I right?
Or something like that. Yeah, we could just add something along those lines. I haven't figured that out yet. But just
bring her inside, tie her up, no one hurt her, and we'll discuss this further.
All right, I'll
probably excuse me. I have some spare materials to deliver, and I'll hoist the fat guy up and start walking into the haven.
I guess Jasper will just sort of just pick her up and just grab some ropes from probably lying around, just
Yeah, I'm sure you guys have ropes lying around. from your year being there, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't even want to think. So you bring her in, you kind of tie her up, and do you like leave her in a corner or kind of tie her to a chair? Or she's about 10 years old, 9 years old.
Put her in a sack.
No, brother, no, we need to plan this. I'll find like some mattress or something like that. Doesn't too rot, just like put her down there, just like, okay.
Jasper went into a random room and threw this little girl tied up on a mattress is standing there like he's trying to think, orientate a plan. Mitch went in with the body. He's going into Cora's little experiment area. Where are you going, Coyote? Are you going with Jasper? Coyote and Richard, where are you guys going?
I'm going to settle up to Cora.
I'm probably going to go with Jasper just because Richard is going to feel at least somewhat guilty.
Indebted.
So, my brother, how do you plan to make it look like someone of the Camarilla does something to this girl?
We just need to go to Juarez and just show them that this small, poor child was taken by those those savages. We just need to get the initial reaction, just something I can use that.
Why should they believe us? These are people from Juarez. Why should they believe us?
It's not just people from Juarez. It's people from all over the country coming there to escape their troubles. But if they find troubles there, they will want to make sure that if we provide them just enough fire just in them, just we can turn them against this corruption they will find, and they will eradicate it for us. And then the Camarilla will just focus on that.
We don't have someone pre-convinced of what we need to achieve.
You need look no further, brother. I can do this. All my life I've been when I was alive, I was trying to spread wisdom. Now I can do so much more.
Richard is probably really impressed. All right, my brother, I have full trust in you.
All right. So, do you think we should break one of her arms? Just one. Just to
what?
Just one of her arms, just like a clean break. Just we need to show her like that. Nothing. If people will go to protect us, a wayward land, but they will work even harder to protect it if they see it is injured and there are wolves nearby. We just need to. It's just a small thing. We don't even just something to show that yes, she has been hurt by their hands.
She has been hurt.
Yeah, that's a good point. You both look down right now, and you have light, and you see just like the whole right side of her face is just like bruising up. Like her eyes are closed, but you can see it looks like she has like a fractured orbital bone. You know what I mean? You can see like the swelling's gotten pretty bad, and you can see the side of her face.
Can I make like a medicine check to see if she's going to die?
I don't have medicine.
I do.
Yeah, you have medicine, right? Yeah, you can make a medicine. Let me get a perception and medicine difficulty 6.
That's 3 successes.
You go up to her, and you see Jasper go up, and he like kneels down. He's like lifting up he's like feeling around her eye, and he's like lifting up her eyelids, and then he's like sitting there just kind of feeling around her neck and feeling her head, and you can tell that like she's obviously knocked out. But you don't think like with her eye movement and everything from when you opened it up and it was exposed to the light, you assume that she'll probably come out of it in due time. She's going to be in an excruciating amount of pain. Might not even be able to talk because you found out her jaw was broken too on that side also. So,
that's enough bruising. Yes, that'll show nicely by tomorrow night. Yes,
it is clearly visible. One can break an arm by falling down some stairs. This won't happen.
This is fine. Yeah, this is fine. This will satisfy. Just make sure that's showed. Yes. Okay.
Cora, you've never fully described your like laboratory area, have you, in game?
I'm not sure.
Do you want to go ahead and do that now?
Yeah, it's probably at this point it's nothing really interesting. Maybe a cage, stuff, beds where the patients can be basically held down by straps and stuff.
It's in the basement, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I would say also like compact dirt, like the basements back then used to have. You know what I mean? Very compact. You guys probably see like blood that dried blood that's been sprayed there, you know what I mean, or dropped there in this compact dirt. So you two followed Cora in there. Mitch, you have this huge, not this huge body, but you got this beer gut Texan over your shoulder. Go ahead, scenes on you guys.
Mitch will walk into the room. He'll look at Cora. Where do you want him?
Put him there on the table. Or into that cage. Into that cage, I think, is better.
All right. Mitchell heft him into the cage, bite his arm, take 2, and then shove him in and slam the door shut. What's your plan for him?
So, I was thinking if we ever need a diversion, I could create something similar. I created for the ritual. The one where I sent the girl running away that Coyote has slain. We could create something similar and send it into town just to create chaos.
I like this.
But for now,
why don't we do that to the girl? That'd be funny.
I'm not sure Mitch would be okay with that.
I surely ain't.
Give Mitch a sidelong glance.
Last thing we need is the law coming down on us in any way, shape, or form, especially during the day.
So, what is our plan?
I ain't quite sure yet. Be great if we could make the girl forget the whole thing. Did she see your face?
No. She thought I was her grandma.
Well, we can keep her unconscious and then just drop her off near someplace safe.
We could just leave her in the desert for the wolves.
I could only horrid form, and she'll tell everyone all about the monsters that captured her. And no one will, of course, believe her. She's a little girl. And
no one will believe her except for one of them cage bastards that knows what we can do.
True.
If she thinks her grandma attacked her, we can leave her somewhere and let the cops figure it out.
We'll see what Jasper has to say.
I don't want no tales of monsters getting back to the cops.
So as you guys are saying that, Jasper and Richard, what are you guys heading to after that? The rest of the pack right now is in Cora's little haven within a haven.
As soon as we're done, setting the girl down, I probably just I guess I headed to the others, just I need to convince them.
So you two walk
follow behind, I guess.
So you two walk into her laboratory, and you see that the body that Mitch brought in is passed out in a cage right now, and you 5 are in the same room. Scenes on you guys. Go ahead.
Brothers and sisters, my plan can work, please. We don't need to cause the child any more harm. We just need to provide.
Please, Jasper, explain it then in detail. We trust you.
Thank you, Cora. Thank you, dear sister. Okay, so we bring the girl to Juarez. We sneak her in, or maybe we pretend that we need to bring it to Trevor Moreno's club or whatever it is, and then we just act like we rescued her from in there, and then I use my many talents to get the crowd on our side, to convince them that there is corruption in their midst, and then that they need to stamp it out. And then we just simply leave Moreno to the justice that the crowd will deliver on him, and then we can seek our target then. No harm will come to the girl. She will be rescued almost immediately by the mortals. So with all the chaos in Juarez, they will be looking at everyone. All eyes will be on Juarez, not on us. Then we can just go unseen in our business.
There's some merit in that.
I agree. I think we could definitely do that. So, Richard, Coyote?
I pat Jasper on the back and I say, "This is your moment to shine, my brother."
Out of character, then, two things. One, you guys know that El Nipi is showing up tomorrow to find out what your guys' plan is, and he's going to show up with another pack just to kind of answer questions, because the banditos have been embedded in Juarez, but they haven't been doing shit. You know what I mean? They're kind of forward observers in a way. Not even forward observers. They're just kind of been sitting in Juarez, just kind of scoping things out, staying on the down low. And then, yeah. But you also know from the year that you guys have been training, they're not affiliated. They're not like Vidar's little pack. They're just a Sabbat pack who is embedded in there. You also know, second, what were you guys talking about, a two-pronged thing then? Were you guys talking about having Jasper do his thing, or you still want to do something with the body that's in the cage, or is that now just going to kind of be on hold, or what's the What's just so I know as a storyteller, so my brain can start formulating like a response. What's your plan? Are you guys gonna still use that body there, Cora, or no, or what?
I think we can just use him as a blood source, if nothing else.
Do you guys want to continue the scene, or do you want to go to the next evening? It's up to you guys.
I think it was getting near morning anyway, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I was getting near morning, definitely.
Yeah, I guess I vote for that. We just go to the next evening after, like, barricading the girl in the room, making sure she can't get out.
So everyone crashes out. I'm going to do it in order of humanity. So guess who goes first? Richard. Blow a blood pool point. And then Richard, you're going to wake up first. Richard, you wake up in this room for the first time. Like, you were probably just shown like a guest room. Like, these people have been staying in these nice like guest rooms, but they've been like, decrepit and dust covered. I don't know how you'd handle yours. You haven't had time, to be honest. You know what I mean? You're just kind of like, here's your room. You wake up. What are you going to do before everyone else wakes up?
First things, do I hear a girl screaming?
We're in your room. You don't, but you haven't gotten out and walked by the room where she's at or anything that.
Well, I guess the first thing is I probably walk around the house and the premise, I guess, just to get acquainted with it. I mean, I never really had the chance. I'd probably check on the girl first thing. First,
let's describe where you're in right now, right? This former resort kind of was like, it's 4 stories, and it's circular in its formation. It goes around like the entrance area within, where there used to be like a front desk, and there's like even maybe like a dance ball area or like a lobby area, or, you know what I mean? But the floors go around it, and it's 3 floors, excuse me. And so the doors all face in, like the steps to go up are all like sagging. You know what I mean? Like it smells of moths and mold, mildew and mold. You were in Cora's lab and you saw that was a decrepit place. That was in the actual basement, but you haven't actually been in anyone else's room. They each have cleaned up their own rooms to their own liking, which have been described before. But you're walking around, you just like get this eerie sense of like, it almost like in your mind scares you in a way because it solidifies more of what you're slowly becoming. Well, you've almost been subtly fighting against, you know what I mean, in your own way, not like giving up. That the last, you probably feel more human now than you felt when you were alive. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Where you're alive.
Yeah, kind of. That's the thing about the new social situation for Richard.
Yeah, exactly. And so you're being reminded of now, like what you're losing in a way. And so as you walk up to this room slowly, you hear just like this whimpering from within. You know what I mean? The girl in your head, you realize that the girl probably can't scream or do much because she has a broken jaw. You know what I mean? And her face is swollen. But you just kind of hear this defeated crying, you know what I mean, whimpering within the room, but the door is closed. And you're kind of like standing in front of this door and you're looking. And it's like the room number was like 207, but the 7 has like kind of gone tilted because the nail that held in the 7 has slowly made its way out due to like the wood warping because of like, rainy seasons and stuff like that. And you just hear it coming from within, and you kind of feel this pang because you, even in your days of being a bootlegger, you were never like a violent criminal. You know what I mean? You were just the guy who was in the family business and who made money this way. So this almost touches like, I would say almost, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to say what your character is thinking, but it would almost feel like this escalated very quickly. You know what I mean? And went from like you were talking to a pal about native Aztec revolution and politics, walking into a town, just thinking you're going to feed and have fun. And somehow it all led to this. 2 dead bodies in this sitting in the room here. But in a way, maybe it's a comforting feeling knowing that the end goal of this isn't going to be monstrous. Like your pack leader, your Ductus has straight up said, like, nothing will happen to this girl. Your buddy Jasper saying, I don't, even though he wanted to break her arm, thankfully you pointed out that her face was already busted up and that he says, she's going to be safe after we're done. So it's like you're kind of rationalizing it right now. Like, yeah, you're hearing this whimpering and it's touching this pang inside of you, but you're like, nothing's going to happen. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I think Richard is definitely overwhelmed, but also not scared or afraid because the pack is on his side.
Yeah. And I like this change in Richard because like from last session where Richard's like, I don't trust you guys, I don't know who you are, Vidar, now you're like, there might like that Valkyrie changed that, you know what I mean? And now for the first time you feel like you're part of a family, which you never felt like as a monk before either. So
I have an
What's
affinity
up?
of 11 for Richard too, so he's like the new guy that joined the group that the big scary guy wants to be best friends with.
Can I do like a roll to find out whether Richard remembers that this girl probably needs to drink some water or something?
No, you don't need to make a roll at all for that. You know that
Okay.
know that from. You know what I mean? Especially being you haven't forgotten what it is to be human as much as these folks. So yeah.
Right, so I'm gonna look for, I don't know, a jar, a mug, and try to find some water.
You go downstairs and you're looking around and you actually go into the kitchen area, and this kitchen is just like not been in. This is before the days of stainless steel, so you see like a big wooden like kitchen island, you know what I mean, where people would prep food, and you see like these old wood stoves. You know, you're looking around, you turn on the faucet, and like nothing's coming out of it. You know what I mean? Well, I don't know. Hold on. Let me rewind that. Would you guys say that you've got the water running? Because I know there's a well in the back, I want to say, but would you say that you've accepted that the water doesn't run in here and you guys just have been using the well in the back? Or
Well, it's not like we need plumbing.
and I just know Cora needs to like doll herself up, but I don't know if like this institute requires washing hair or whatever. But will say that you look around and you're frantically like trying to turn on these faucets, you know what I mean? These old copper faucet head, and like turning and nothing's coming on, and you're just like looking around, and then finally you see like this back door to the kitchen, and you open the back door and you look and you just kind of see this. Looks like there's a storage shed there. This definitely wasn't an area where visitors, you know, went, and you see a well that's down there, and you're like, because this is still in the days when people used wells, you know, when they didn't have plumbing. Plumbing was something new in here, and you go and you look under the well. You go to the well and you look down, and you can see the moonlight like reflecting off some water, you know. So you can definitely use like the bucket and the contraption that's on the top to reel it down there, you know. And you reel it down there, and you're sitting there, and you get some water, and you pull it up, and you kind of just smell it, and it doesn't smell tepid or, you know what I mean, anything like that. So it's fresh, you know, drinkable water.
Yeah, so I'm gonna grab a bucket or something, whatever is there at the well, and just grab
Bring
some
it
water.
upstairs.
Yeah.
Okay. So you make your way upstairs and you open the door and you see this figure. She's like laying on her side that obviously her face isn't on, and she can't open her eyes, and you open the door and right away you have contact with like her bottom eye that's on this mattress, and you just kind of see like that side of her face is wet from like the tears, and you see she like you as you walk closer, and it's almost like scares you to walk in this room for a second. You see that her pupil is not fully dilated. You know what I mean? So like it almost makes it like you've seen this in like drunk people who drank maybe too much of the moonshine that you guys made, or if someone bought moonshine from a bad batch, you know, and it kind of went too far in its effects. You kind of see that, and she's just looking at you as you're walking in, and she's not really moving too much, but you know she's conscious, you know.
Yeah. Probably taken aback for a second, but
Yeah.
I guess Richard's gonna try to lie to her and just say, "You've been hurt. We're taking care of you. Here, you need to drink water a lot."
And you see she kind of like she tries to like push herself up, and you see she's kind of weak, and she gets herself up, she kind of sits back, and she keeps like tenderly touching the side of her face. You see it's like all swollen, like her eyes purple, you know, just like the swelling around there in the jaw, and you see the jaws just sticking out. And she's trying to open her mouth, and she's like reaching for the bucket that you have.
Yeah,
in front of you
Richard's
there.
just gonna keep talking, so she doesn't really have a moment to speak to him. Just say something like, "Well, the damn telephone is broken again. We can't reach the ambulance, but we've got people here. One of them was a nurse or something. She's old, but she can still do it, and just need to drink now."
She sits there, and you see she's like putting her hands in the water, and she's like trying to get some in her mouth, and it's like drooling off to the side, but some is going in there. And you see that she starts doing that a little bit more eagerly as you're standing there for about a few minutes, and then she stops and she just kind of lays on her side, and you see that her one eye closes like she's falling asleep, you know, after you do that.
Nice, very good.
So who has the next highest humanity? I know it's not Coyote. I know it's not Cora, because I think you both have 3. Mitch, you have a 4, right? And what do you have, Jasper?
No, I've got
4 now?
5.
Oh, yeah, 5. And what do you have, Jasper?
I have a 4.
Okay. So, Mitch, you're getting up. You do your daily routine, I take it, or what do you do when you get up?
He'll do his routine, his prayers, and all that.
As you leave your room, Mitch, and you open your door, you kind of look down and you see Like because you're like on the what floor would you say you're on? The first, second, or third? Just pick one.
Probably second.
So you see, as you get out of your room and you put your hand on the railing, and you're used to getting up before everyone, and you look down and you see on the first floor, walking out of the girl's room, you see Richard with a bucket of water. You know what I mean? As he closed the door behind him and starts walking down the hallway. There's a moment where Mitch, you have a moment where you look down at him, and Richard, you look up at him and you see each other. Go ahead, scene's on you guys.
Mitch will give Richard a solemn nod.
I'm just gonna say quietly, she's sleeping now. She's calm. But she is in a bad shape.
I reckon she is. We'll need to get her back into town tonight.
Yes.
At this point, everyone's moving on with their day or night. Everyone starts getting up. You know what I mean? Starts going about their ways. Is there any scenes that you guys want to have between each other before I continue on with the next scene? Or
I actually want to make sure to just go to Coyote and say, make sure you stay out of the girl's sight. We don't need to confuse her. Just.
That's my response.
I think I want to check the fountain whether, I don't know, some wolves or whatever got into the bodies that were left hanging there for a day in the sun.
Yeah. You actually kind of walk out to there and you see now we could retcon and say someone cleaned it up, or we can leave them out there. It's not really, no one really comes here during the day. You know what I mean? Obviously, this is off the beaten trail. This isn't on, like I said, hasn't been visited in 20 years. It's your guys' call. Did you guys leave them out there? Or did you guys clean it up before you guys hit the sack?
I think we'd clean it up.
Yeah, we can just say that. So you're sitting out there, Coyote, and you're smoking your cigar, and you're like looking around with the machismo that you have, and you see
to the desert.
Yeah, and you see 5 figures on horses coming towards you slowly, and you see
sizing
one.
them up.
Yeah, definitely. You see 4 are drawn together, and you can't really make out the details, but you see that they're rather pale, the horses, and you see the 5th horse is like riding like 10, 12 feet, or excuse me, about 10 or 12 yards to their left, and you recognize the horse slowly as it starts coming up as the Pinto that Ilanipi, the Templar for Vidar, Archbishop Vidar, rides. And then you see as they come closer, they come into like the courtyard area where the fountain is, where like the dirt, starts forming and is more packed. And you see the 4 that are coming up. As they come up, you see they're riding these albino horses. And you're kind of taken aback because you're looking at the eyes of these albino horses, and their eyes are filmy with like a crimson film, like a pink film, like it's blood mixing with like tear ducts. And you see like their eyes, these horses' eyes look panicked in a way, but not like, like you saw, everyone at this time or another saw like a horse that was losing their shit. You know what I mean? And the eyes are kind of wide and going to the side of their head and rolling up. And you see that these horses, while they're walking calm, have that movement to their eyes, and you see like their mouths seem a little frothier, which is hard to make out on their albino, fur. And on these 4 figures, you see a guy, you see one figure that looks to be male, and he's wearing like a kind of like a beat up cowboy hat, and he has on the looks like there's like blonde hair coming from underneath it that seems to be cut short to be about ear length. He's rather scrawny looking guy, has no facial hair whatsoever. He has cowboy plaid flannel shirt that's kind of like buttoned into like the middle button and is open, and his skin is very pale underneath there, and he seems to be wearing like these worn leather pants, cowboy boots that are coming up. Next to him, you see a guy, an African-looking guy who's behind him with a completely shaved head, and he's rather taller than the first individual sitting there, but he's not like bulkier. He's kind of a slender frame. His skin, though, is very ashy in its color, not so much brown or ebony, but very like gray, and looks almost to be like it's been dehydrated in a way. And he has these gashing open wounds that you see at first. It took you a second to realize it, but they look like wounds that have never healed. He's barefooted, and all he seems to be wearing is these pants that seem to be very poor excuse of pants that seem to be made of the same material that burlap is made out of, and like they seem to be tied around with like a rope around him, around his waist. Then you see another guy on the next horse. He is, again, seems to be clean shaven, but he's a white guy, and he has very like long face, almost like his jaw is very like withdrawn features, gaunt, almost like his at one time age was really like just gravity was fighting his features, you know what I mean? Not like any supernatural change like anything Korra would do, but very looks like someone who had a real rough life. He is wearing what looks to be an old beat up pair of blue jeans, cowboy boots, and he has like at first what seems like a leather jacket. He's not wearing anything underneath this leather jacket, but as you see them come into the courtyard, right away you instinctively know that it seems to be made of like human skin of some sort, because you see where it's like been like sewn, poorly somewhat stitched, but you can definitely tell. And the reason I say that is because of the lips comment that we were talking about in the first session that you had made. You see around his belt, he has like these, what looks like to be meat cleavers. He has like 4 of them that seem to be 2 on each side that seem to be hanging on the side. And then finally you see a female who looks to be rather short, rather petite, but very, very like homely, not like attractive, what you would consider attractive at all. She basically has like chopped up black hair that's rather greasy. She doesn't look as pale as these others, but she has this like very withdrawn look into her eyes. And she's wearing all guy clothes, like a tucked in blue jean, like made shirt that's in these tucked in black slacks, or tucked into black slacks. And these slacks are tucked in to like, looks like World War I era combat boots, those combat boots type stuff they used to wear. And she looks like she has like 2 pistols on her side and a shotgun. And also the first figure had 2 pistols, by the way, but the African-American didn't have anything. And they come walking up, and you see Ilanipi. He gets off of his horse, and you can tell he's like staying. They seem very tight, the 4, but he doesn't seem as tight as them. And so Ilanipi comes up to you, and he's like, I need to speak to you, your ductus, and your pack.
Hello, folks. Have you ever wished you could have an easy way to find gameplay videos and podcasts, or just media in general that deals with your favorite White Wolf role-playing games? Or have you ever wished you could find a forum to share gameplay that you have recorded, one which wouldn't be drowned out by random posts and discussion, so that your media could get the attention you want? Well, we have the answer for you in a Facebook group we run called White Wolf RPGs Gameplay and Media. The group is specifically ran with the sole intent of it being a one-stop shop for people to view or share media involving the games we all love. We take thorough steps to ensure the page does not become cluttered and is easy to traverse. We are currently over 1,000 members strong, and we are continuing to rapidly grow, with new media being shared every day. Stop on by. We hope to see you there. High Level Games, the industry's first choice in taking your games to the next level. We are a podcast blog and new media network at highlevelgames.ca. We have blog posts about all of your favorite games going up 5 days a week, and a podcasting network with actual plays and shows that discuss role-playing games, with more rolling out all the time. We are on iTunes, Twitch, and YouTube. Find out more information at highlevelgames.ca, a site that certainly isn't controlled by a shadowy board of directors of otherworldly origin. That's highlevelgames.ca.
Please, help. They're coming.
The mission seems simple enough, don't they always? Simple sweep and flush out operation. We loaded them up in a hazmat tanker in Montreal and shipped them to a downtown warehouse in the Valley of the Sun. They would have been in and out in a few nights. Well, we wouldn't be telling the story if it all went as planned, would we?
I go ahead and I pop quiet.
Alright, yeah, I'm gonna run at him and do a sweet spin kick and knock his head off.
We're waiting to see whether or not the abomination kills us.
Shufflehead Chronicles is available on the Critical Hints feed. Search for Critical Hints in iTunes, Google Play, or any other podcatcher.
I don't think this is how. No,